Well. Welcome to SBG News and Views with Louis Herms and Robert 𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙏𝙀. And I have virtually nothing to talk about today, possibly an MK Ultra connection. But right now, let's bring on my buddy, Robert 𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙏𝙀.
Yeah, glad to be here, Lewis. Looking forward to what we have to share today. Boy, there's so much news. You're right about that. I mean, there's so many pieces going in 10 different directions. I'll let everyone know we had a quick meeting early this morning and we said, okay, there's this, and this. And then I said to Lewis, I said, it's only, 10 o'clock here. A couple hours, there's a lot going to shift and change. So I've been putting stuff up literally 5 minutes before we're going live. I'm still putting stuff up into the slides because there's always something more to add. And truth is, that's the kind of the world we're in right now. Things are just popping and shifting, and we're going to see a lot of it. We got to be patient with it all, and we're not going to get it all into one show. We know that.
That's right. That's right. So let's roll. We've got a lot of things to talk about today. This is one that probably people should think about sharing. This is going to be epic.
Certainly is. I'm just checking here. Our guest is in the back room. Just waiting for her camera to pop up. Awesome. All right. Which video should we start with, Lewis? We've got so many pieces that we can run today.
I'm thinking eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I think we start with the top story of the day, which is what's going on in our world in Maine. I think that's the big topic everyone's talking about. It's been in the news, and Lewis and I were very clear this morning. We're going to talk about this topic in a very different way. We're going to bring a different perspective to it. And the part that I'm going to cover, here and I will talk about afterwards, is what are we not seeing, because this story has dominated the media, right? So every time there's a story that dominates as big as this one, we got to look for what's going on underneath. And there's a bunch of little things going on underneath that I don't think are really that little.
I think they're pretty big, actually.
Yeah, I do think they are pretty big. Well, last night they were saying 22, and now today we hear is only 18. That's still a lot, but when you get these stories live, and I think we talked about this. They were saying there are 3 locations, and there were only 2, and now they're chasing this guy across state lines, and there's just, it's hard when the story is that fresh and that raw. We're getting information coming in from all different angles, and it's hard to, hey, we're going to go live with it right away because most of it's going to be wrong. And I got to tell you, my feeling on these kind of stories is 3-4 days from now, that's when you really want to talk about it, because then it'll be clear, right?
Yeah. Yes. So here's the key. So we are opposite from the mainstream media, right? We don't believe in sensationalism. We prefer to try to do our best to get the story right? Because it is extremely important, because that's our responsibility to we the people.
Right.
So Fox News, one of the first people to put out the story yesterday, because they had to be first, right? And they have it at 3 separate locations. God knows how many injured, had almost virtually no information on it, but they were stating it as facts. Not that we think this, or we believe this, or this is our opinion. They state it as facts. And then when they re-put out the real information, they don't address that they even made a mistake, because it's so important for the mainstream media just to get it out as fast as they can.
Yeah.
And plus it kind of pushes their underlying narrative, which we're going to talk about also here.
Yeah, I'm anxious to hear about the underlying narratives and the triggers that cause this kind of thing to happen, because I think that's what our audience really wants. Is they want the enlightened view of this rather than just the mainstream narrative. We go beyond, and we have a guest on that will help us do that. So I think we should introduce our guest. What do you think?
Well, I think we should talk about the story a little bit more.
Okay.
Right, and because I want to go into some things, and then I definitely want to bring on our guest, because she's going to have a very, very interesting take on this.
Yep. I'm looking forward to this. I think she's going to bring an aspect to the story that a lot of people are not aware of.
So I believe we should go over, let's clue them in. We're going to go deeper into it, but let's clue everybody into, there's about somewhere between, I think, 5 and 8 epic real news stories that are out since late yesterday and today that are completely hidden.
So it's not the weapon that's the problem, right? Per se, it's the person behind it. It's the thinking behind it.
Yes. So I think we need to visit something too. The deep state never let a crisis go to waste.
Correct.
Rahm Emanuel, Saul Alinsky, and Winston Churchill lived by that motto. So just because one thing happens doesn't mean there can't be multiple reasons for it. And there's several reasons, in my opinion, for this. So let's set the stage for Laura Worley. Is she on video? She'll be on video here?
I think she'll just have to turn on her camera.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Oh, perfect.
There she is. Hey, Laura.
So what we'll do is let's set the stage for this, because I've had some great private conversations with Laura, so is my wife, about the MK Ultra elements to this and how these people can be activated. And she'll talk about probably how that can happen. So they knew there was a lot of news that was coming out that makes the deep state look really, really bad today.
Yep.
Yesterday, they really were pushing on weapons bans. And we know the first Congress under the new Speaker of House was going to be active today, and they promised to push a lot of things out that could help take the deep state down. Now, I do believe they pulled some of those back off the table because of the news cycle. All of that being said, right, let's bring Laura on and we can ask her questions directly about how this guy may have been activated through MK Ultra and what the serious ramifications of this, because I know this is a major concern and she is an expert in this, and hopefully we can talk about the healing aspect of this afterwards too.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey Laura, how are you?
Good.
To see you. You know, Laura
Thanks
and I
for
did an
having me
interview
on.
a while back. I think it was early this year, probably February, March, and she literally predicted that this might happen. So,
Well, I hate to say about the prediction part, but I have been talking to people since 21 when I started speaking publicly about the possibility of it, what we call it's a New World Order Army program, a New World Order Army being activated. And because a lot of people don't understand what that is, I can explain it real quick. So the New World
Laura,
Order.
can I interrupt you for just 1 second? Can you lower your camera a little bit? I'm just getting your head.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Is that going to help?
That is perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, your camera's weird because it comes different on my thing. Okay. So the New World Order Army is something that was created, at least that I know of, from MK Ultra programming in 1950s. So what that meant was every MK Ultra person, a victim that went through MK Ultra, had this sleeper New World Order programming. And when they could activate the sleepers, it would be in a time that they could literally bring the New World Order in. And because this is the first time in history they are able to do this, we have millions of people who have this this programming that can take place. And it's of two categories. One, it's of MK Ultra survivors. And number two, it will be in military. Military will have MK Ultra, some of them. And then I personally have witnessed military having a new technology that they have placed inside them so they can activate them, turn them on as a soldier that you won't be able to stop. And so the MK Ultra is also something that once it's turned on, that part of a survivor can be turned on to be the soldier. And mixed with the MK Ultra and the military, and they could literally connect it to the soldiers who are being allowed through the border right now. This is what they call their New World Order Army, because that's what they need. They can't bring in the New World Order without the army. So what just happened with this man is there's a very high chance that he was activated because right now I am working with clients who are being activated to go out and start causing chaos. So this would be a typical way that a survivor or a military man or a woman would be activated to go cause chaos in the world. This will not be the only one. And I'm sorry to say that, but this is probably just the beginning, because the deep state is very desperate, and you're going to see a lot more of this and a lot more other things. Because they have to bring in the New World Order, and they have to have their army. And now the people that I work with, they literally are being accessed. Some of them are actually saying in the news, they're giving them secret messages. I won't say about a couple other things, but some very high up people, when they go on TV, will give a message to activate both the military and the survivors. So I have fireworks behind me.
I didn't do that. I don't know where that came from.
That was God. So, Laura, a couple things. So this has the markers of what you're saying. The guy's a vet, right? And the claim has been he's been hearing voices. Okay. Now, I'm guessing those voices could also be part of the MK Ultra activation. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Unfortunately, yes, because they have what they call a targeted individual. And when I told you that there's many military men and women who've been implanted with technology, there is one thing called voice to skull, and they can speak to the person's mind. And it's called voice to skull. You can look it up as a targeted individual. I witnessed military men of every organization be implanted with some kind of technology that they could completely control the person. It was very humiliating what they did to him. But they do have this technology, and they are going to use it this time. Right now, this is their time. So we just have to try to stop them from being activated. I would say he's probably on the lower scale of what I call mind control programming. And he's like the first step. And so they have different steps of who they're going to bring out to do whatever job. And so each of them have a different level that they'll be called out at. And so he's going to be the first level.
So there's a lot of, we're going to go into this after you and I and Robert finish our conversation. We're going to go into all the different.
Seeing war is because of what they have done with them. Because I promise you guys, I know this for an absolute fact, that when someone signs up to go into the military, they believe they have, whatever rights to that person, can do whatever they want to them. And they do, because they have the ability to use mind control. Even if they had you for 2 hours, they could implant mind control that would stick very strongly inside of you. And I do speak from experience, and I experience whatever I've witnessed, I can share with you. It's bad what they can do. So anyway, that's our government for you. So anyway.
Yep. Robert, you jump in anytime, but I have another a question. What signs or what signals are these people getting when they're saying that it looks like they're trying to activate me? Is there certain things that you can disclose?
Yes. One of the things that just happened, do you remember Biden's talk when he had the red behind it? Mm-hmm. That was a sign to MK Ultra survivors, or I'll say victims in this case, that they were getting ready to go. And so they're going to have either Biden, Obama, maybe all of them, when they are ready for the New World Order for maybe step 4 or 5 levels, they will come out and say the same message. So it'll be somebody that you know very well, and they will come out with the same message, and they'll repeat it. And what that message is, all the survivors know what that message is. And so their parts, what I call alters, they will know that they have to wait to do their job until they hear this message. And it could be a color, it can be a symbol, it can be all 3. And so they already have been taught this. So it's not something that they just got. They've already been taught this their whole life. And the only thing that's changed is they have called a lot of people back since 2015 to update their instructions, because they know they can do it now. And so in the last year, since November, they have called, unfortunately, quite a few back for updating. And so they are ready to go. There's no more updating. It's go time or stop time.
Right. And so there's this combined with their experiences that we might have to deal with. But you and I have talked offline many times. ultimately you already feel that God's going to win this battle.
I do feel like God's going to step in and help us. I do, because knowledge is power. So if we wake up enough people, the only thing that I know how to do at a very large group power is pray. Pray that the activation is not allowed, because we're talking millions of people, not hundreds, millions. And I don't want to see not only survivors, I don't want to see military men and women who went in for a good, righteous reason to go into the military for their country, and then they get screwed over by this implants, in the mind control, and now they've turned them into something they don't want to be. And so we have to pray that they never get activated. And that's the only power that I know we can pull out at the moment. If there's any high up men and women and that can stop this and not let them activate everyone, then that'd be awesome. But I don't have that power. So.
Yep. And we just need to let people know that this technology exists, and their intentions are nefarious for sure.
You guys, if you're a researcher, you can go look at all the patents the government has for all this technology, and you can look up a lot of information for under-targeted individuals. You will be shocked. You will not want to know this, but you got to know it now, because they want to use it on every single soul. That's part of the New World Order, is to be transhuman, type person. Mm-hmm. And the people that have this technology, it's horrible for them. It's a nightmare. So.
Well, I'm prayed up, and I think all of us here watching this today, and this will probably get a lot of people checking it out. I think we can do this part. We can get the information out, and we can stay with God. And I believe we're going to be in great shape in the long run. But it will be darkest for the dawn. We already knew this. So, Robert, do you have anything for Laura?
Yeah, I had just one question, Laura, about the triggering mechanism. You said that it's being triggered by, you said specifically the news, and I heard that, my ears went up. It's like, the news, is this an opportunity then for us to cut off mainstream media, cut off all that which could be triggering? But you said there's other things as well. There's colors, there's sounds, there's words.
They're going to get their messages through the news. Unfortunately, one person said it was actually through not the real media that everybody listens to, but podcasters. So I don't know. They were sharing the news. I don't know if they were under my control or what. But anyway, we have to be careful what we listen to and who we listen to, because if they are under my control, and they already have the messages, they already know what they're going to, what they're supposed to do. They've all got their jobs, and that's the problem, you guys. The MK Ultra, everyone has their job. They've trained their whole life for it. They're going to do it unless we stop them. And I know a lot of survivors are waking up, and I think that's enough for them to stop themselves. But the problem is most people don't even know they have this, because it's a sleeper. It's why they call it a sleeper. It's a sleeper program inside.
So a follow-up question to that: there's no way that Lewis or I, for instance, on our podcast are going to say something inadvertently and trigger people, or should there be something we know about?
No,
okay,
no,
good.
No. Mm-mm. No.
But good that being said, Robert, I was thinking of this. We do have a responsibility. Number one, I do believe Laura 100% when she said other podcasters are doing this. Mm-hmm. I believe some are intentional, because we already know this. The Patriot movement's been highly infiltrated. So some of them intentional. But here's how we can prevent, and guys, this will be Robert and I will dedicate to you. This is how we can prevent us inadvertently doing this. I'm going to be offline with Laura, and I'm going to have her give me a constant list of what type of things they would do, like this, so on and so forth. So when we play some of those videos, we'll make sure we intentionally do not play one on this. So our dedication to you is we will be in contact with Laura and whoever else has this knowledge to make sure we don't inadvertently play one of those videos that could activate somebody. That's our dedication to y'all that are watching right now.
Well, the real big activation has not happened yet. So just to let you guys know that hasn't happened. Mm-hmm. But I will definitely let you know what I know for sure.
So Laura, we appreciate you so much, but I also like you give an opportunity. Laura actually helps people that have gone through MK Ultra heal, right? Mm-hmm. So can you give them your website or something so they can get a hold of you?
𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙊𝙏𝙀𝙍. And I'm actually trying to teach a lot of people about what happens to MKUltra survivors and how it ties into political things right now. And so I have a podcast that is shadow banned very badly. And so, but I just started it. So it's Puzzle Pieces Together on Rumble. So if you want to just learn more, I do talk a lot about the New World Order. And anyway, I try to teach people, public, survivors, therapists, whoever's interested. I'm trying to teach as much as I know. So
everybody here, go to Puzzle Pieces Together on Rumble, because that's what you're probably watching, and subscribe to Laura's channel. If I get an opportunity, I will put it in the description below. Anything else you want to cover, Laura?
No, I think that's it.
You, Robert?
Nope, I'm feeling very complete. I'm very blessed to have Laura here with us today.
Very blessed.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Very much.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Louis, I'm 100% on board with you in being very careful in what we play, because it may not be us specifically, but it may be a video that we pick up or an image or something like that. So good to know that we need to be careful about that, because we never know.
Well, what we need to understand, I think most people that have watched our program for a little bit, they understand that we the people come first, and authenticity and responsibility is what we need to be part of, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why we may not be the first to release some information, because we're going to dig into it and make sure it's correct, right? That's also, it may not all be actors playing these people on the good side. There's a very, very prominent general, I will not say his name, that I believe, because I've seen firsthand, there's two of them out there. And one of them's not a good guy, and the other one maybe. So very weird stuff. We're living in crazy times. Our discernment has to be at the height of that it is. But I think we should be open to everything right now and just not buy into one narrative.
And that's, that's why we're a little bit slow. We don't just grab the breaking news and throw it up there sometimes, because it's like, it's gonna pan out. It's gonna be different than what it appears at first. And we also, everything that we get sent a lot of stuff. Let's face it, a lot of people sending us stuff in our backstage, and then we get emails from people sending us other stuff. And if we can't vet it, in other words, find it in other sources, in other ways, not the same story being published in many places, but find different takes on it or different people writing about it, then we won't run with it. And we throw a lot of stuff away. Honestly, we throw probably more away than we actually use on each show each day for that reason.
True fact.
Yep.
True fact.
Yep.
And it takes a long time for us to vet it. And by the way, that's why we're always looking for more people to help us as much as we can, because we want to put out the most quality show we can possibly do for you, because you guys deserve it.
And I got to tell you, the benefit in doing that, really, sometimes you don't see it because you're buried in the work and digging through and going after website. But the benefit is you really are on top of the real information. And then when you sit down with somebody, you can have a conversation with them. It's like, I can match wits with anybody now. I couldn't do that 2 years ago. But I mean, I could sit down with any left-leaning person, right-leaning person, Fox News follower, whatever, and educate them at a new level without attacking them, because I've got so much to fall back on. I've learned so much by doing this. So there's a sort of an intrinsic benefit that you don't notice right up front, but it is certainly there.
Well, I can tell you firsthand that 4 years ago, I had 2 brain cells, and I think I've developed a third one now.
now.
So I'm working on a 4th.
Yeah. Well, that Mr. Trump, she says. Mr. Trump.
Ooh. 2 huge things in that.
There's more than 2, but yes, let's go.
I mean, 2 big glaring things. Number 1, she just says, Cohen is not our only witness, which is an admission that he torched them yesterday. He was absolutely horrible for them as a witness.
Yep.
They never come out publicly and say, oh, but it doesn't matter because we have all these other witnesses, right? That means that that was an absolute, utter failure. That's 1. Number 2, and this is the one I hope everybody picks up on. She said the judge has already made his decision.
I don't know why people didn't pick that up. Trump picked it up.
That is massive.
It's over.
She said the judge has already made his decision. Yeah. I'm surprised President Trump isn't all over this.
He is. He actually said it in his post.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Thank
He
you.
knows. He's aware.
Amazing. Amazing.
Now,
that
she
would say
repeated
that.
exactly the words of the judge. The judge said there's enough evidence to fill the courtroom. Right.
Right.
Those were his words, not
And a
hers.
judge should never say that.
Right.
Ever, ever, ever.
Well,
So his bias is very clear. So, Robert, I'm going to ask you, because you're even more pragmatic than I. In fact, you lean on the side of the mainstream media, in my opinion. But on the serious side, do you think this is optics that we're seeing, and this white hats are just playing the movie out for us all to wake up, or do you think this is really they're that freaking stupid?
well, Trump's reaction yesterday, threw his hands up and walked out. The Secret Service is running after him, tells you everything you need to know. It's a sham. He knows it's a sham. He knows it's not going to go anywhere. If you are really in that situation where your business is being threatened, they're going to shut your business license down, you're going to lose your entire empire, you pay very close attention to the judge, you do everything right, you don't come out and attack the way he's attacking. He knows something. There's something more to this than we're aware of, right? Just the way he's acting. You just look at the actions, they speak louder than the words.
All right. So I've developed a theory. Yes, these are all optics, but they're unknown optics with a known outcome. So let me explain that.
Yes.
The outcome is known. The process isn't completely known. And this is where I got to put my tinfoil hat on. Maybe the good guys have been using Project Looking Glass, and they understand that they have to go through these processes. Some of it they control, others they don't, but they know what to say and how to say it, and the outcome is known. Now, there is a story that was told a while ago that in 2012, the bad guys looked through Project Looking Glass and they saw their future, and they ran it thousands of times, and it always came out to the same: they collapse. So it would be plausible that the white hats would be using something like Project Looking Glass. So, but what do we know? No. Let's say there is no Project Looking Glass. Let's say you can't foretell the future. We do know 100% that the bad guys and the good guys have access to artificial intelligence that runs scenarios, probable scenarios, 1,000,000 times before it even shoots out a possibility for them. So we know for sure that they're using that technology. And I've been told directly by somebody that that's more than quantum is what he called it, whatever the hell that means. But he says a whole nother level that most people don't see. So either way, everybody seems to be seeing a positive outcome. So it's just like it's like working out. We know that if we work out, we're going to get that body of our dreams, but you have to go through all the pain to get to there, and you don't know exactly how long it's going to take. I think that's probably the reality where we stand.
Yeah, I think you may be right. When you talk about the body of your dreams, you're talking about your body, not another body, right?
My body.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, just want to be clear there, because you never know how we think about things, right?
My body, my choice, Robert.
Yep. Yeah. So Trump went off, and again, he's already been sanctioned, right, from this judge, $5,000, and again $10,000 for breaking the gag order, and then he comes out red hot again here, and he says the radical left judge, right away attacking him, should not be handling the fake and fully discredited case brought against me by the New York State AG. It should be handled by the commercial division, but should never have been brought. Fined me $10,000 yesterday under his so-called gag order. He is a judge that found me guilty before the trial even started, so he already knows. And long before he had the real facts, like Michael Cohen collapsing and choking yesterday under cross-examination and completely admitting that I had done nothing wrong. He committed massive perjury at a level seldom seen on the stand before. It was like watching the end of the best Petty Mason, Patty rather than Perry Mason, Petty Mason episode, where the defendant breaks down and cries, "Yes, I did it, I did it, I did it." This case should be ended now, but this judge and his boss 𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙊𝙏𝙀𝙊 James will never let that happen. He even refused to accept our big win in the appeals court. It's a disgrace to the legal system and the state of New York. This is a rigged case. Not backing down.
All right. So the big news in that post is where he misspelled Petty Mason, which he, of course, it looks like he meant to say Perry Mason.
Mm-hmm.
No. For those very pragmatic people that don't think he makes these intentional mistakes, I'll give you some fuel to that fire. On the keyboard, the T is right next to the R. Okay? So here's some fuel to your fire. Except, dun, dun, dun. This is not a disclosure of the word petty. This is pointing to the word Mason. Because we are been run and controlled by Freemasons for a long, long time. That's the direction I think President Trump is going with this. This is about the Masons. Petty is a precursor to the Masons. He's talking about the petty Masons.
Mm-hmm.
Petty doesn't matter at all. It brings attention to that sentence. I believe our focus should be on the Masons, which is going to be probably the next level of disclosures. And then we may finish off with the 𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙊𝙏𝙀𝙊 Mafia, although that crazy tinfoil hat wearing Louis Herms guy says all roads lead back to Switzerland. So I believe Switzerland will be last, but we will see.
Not Israel.
Nope,
Maybe.
we will see.
We don't know. Israel's an interesting bucket of worms there.
But I can tell you the 𝙎𝙃𝙊𝙊𝙏 Mafia is in Switzerland.
They are. Yep.
So,
what does that tell you?
I'm silent.
We talked a lot about, digging through some of the stories that have been covered. We can start jumping into that. That's Trump's statement. Trump risks violating the gag order again by calling the New York judge tyrannical and crazy. The judge has already threatened him. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And he's like, he walked out of the courtroom yesterday and attacked him right away. He doesn't care. Right? It's like, do you think your $10,000 fine is going to stop him? You know what I mean? The guy's worth billions. Come on.
I think he's going to bring a briefcase of cash to the courtroom from now on.
I hope so. So, Chris Coons. We have this video, and I had not, I don't have a note on it, Louis. Do you remember what that one was about?
I think you said this guy's a piece of crap.
All right,
I know you. You cuss all the time off. By the way, all Robert does when I talk to him offline is cuss. It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
He's maniacal. He's maniacal.
Let's listen to what...
Next week, because I believe all the markers are there for an economic crash, unfortunately. And we're going to dive into that. Hey, by the way, guys, Laura Worley, the beautiful Laura Worley, was not an anomaly today. We're going to start having special guests come on with a hell of a lot more intelligent than I am, with some great information every day if we can make it happen. So you guys should definitely start sharing this show. I think it'll be very impressive with what we're going to be doing here.
So nice to have some female energy on the show, you know?
Well, other than me. That's my feminine side talking.
That's your feminine side talking. I get it. Oh, boy.
Speaking of feminine side, let's see if you're going to do it. I queued it for you.
I know. You queued it up. You get it. You got it right. And gosh, we have a breaking story from Neumi to announce today. They came out with it yesterday. And there have been people beta testing this product, by the way. They've been trying it out, and the results, again, are great. Neumi went and used their hydrostat technology and built a new product because they have a patent on this technology, apparently, and it's really fantastic. Every woman knows about the inconvenience that cycles and hormone changes can bring into their life. Guys know that, too. We have experienced it. So women are experiencing rapid results through their hydrostat nanotechnology with this new product. Nano-sized ingredients wrapped in water clusters are small enough to be absorbed by the human cell under the tongue, which is right where you need them. So this new product helps with cramp relief, decreased bloating, hormone balance, minimized hot flashes. Some ladies are experiencing that. Improved sleep, natural energy, increased libido, mood improvement. And the product is called HERS, H-E-R-S, not Hims. It's called Hers, and it's brand new. We're going to get some, but Lewis and I, it will not serve us to take it. So it'll be our ladies that will take it, and we'll be able to report
That will
back.
serve us.
That'll serve us. Our ladies will be happier, stronger, healthier, right?
Please,
It's designed for
here's a
women in every
bottle.
season. It's designed for all women in every season of life. Every ingredient in our botanical formula was carefully selected to create a well-rounded blend of benefits. With Hers, every woman can flourish. And that's how you get it.
If the results with Hers is half as good as with the NutraSwish from Neumi, wow. It's just amazing, because the one thing that I've heard from the doctors that were on the panel that were developing this product is unilaterally they were hearing that people didn't think this was going to work because they've had so many feminine products that have failed them, right? So when they did the study, they used a placebo in there, as they should when they're doing these studies, right? And they found that the placebo had 0% effect. Now, why that's important is because generally a placebo will have a 10 to 15% effect, because your mind says, well, whatever this is, they don't know they're getting a placebo, is going to work. This had a 0% effect. And I actually think Neumi should promote this. They didn't. I picked up on this when I was listening. That means this product is amazing, because the women going into it are like, just another product that's not going to work for me, right?
Yep.
And then they got phenomenal results while using the product. Guys, they're also offering it for just $50, which is unheard of. I believe this is probably an introductory price. So use Robert's link there, whatever that is. Link, I can't see it.
There it is there, renegademedia.tv/energy, or just scan the QR code.
Use Robert's link and he'll get the credit for this. But I'm telling you guys, if this is 50% as good as what I know Neumi and NutraSwish is about, this is a game changer for the ladies. So, and it works for virtually all ages. So I hope this works for y'all also.
Don't know unless you try, and that's my way of going through life. And you got to try something and see if it works for you. And if it works for you, man, you've got something here that's really going to be life changing. Not just for you, but for your man as well, which would be really good.
It is super weird for men to be talking about this, by the way.
It really is. It is.
I get it.
Yeah, but we care about our ladies, so we got to make sure they're healthy too, and they've got the support they need, because boy, that hormone cycle is something else sometimes. I've seen it in action. Oof. Interesting. All right. So some of the things that are kind of being buried in the news, Lewis, we should talk about that. This was Tucker Carlson's show on Monday. Now, both you and I, we want to dig a little bit further. We're not sure it's 100% accurate, but we'll play it, and we can talk about it after.
Real quick,
large
because
force
this,
of 80 to 100,000 troops on.
Okay.
I'm always reading the chat, and if one person mentions something in the chat, that means probably 100 people are thinking about it. Somebody just said $50 is a lot for Hers, right? Guys, that's a month's supply. That's not like one drink per day.
Right.
Just so you're very, very clear on it. If it gets phenomenal results, is really a $1.70 a day or whatever. Is that really a lot? I don't know. I guess for some people it certainly is, but I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that's a month supply for $50. That's not one drink. Hey, I feel much better now.
The challenge, I'm in the natural health world, and I've been existing there for a very long time. And it's hard for people who can go to the pharmacy and pay $5 for a prescription, right, on their copay. And it's hard for them to see that if you get something that's outside of that, man, I've got to pay full price for it. Well, actually, if this were a pharmaceutical drug, it'd be $300-400, something like that. But something that's just $50, you got to pay for your own health. What they're giving you for free.
Stories that would have been released, but that's our job. We're going to show you guys what's going on there.
Yeah, my question to you yesterday was exactly that. It's like we had articles of impeachment being introduced in Congress, and then Israel happened. And then that's gone now. Nobody's been talking about it. It's not even a topic of conversation anymore. Well, did Biden suddenly get cured? Is he better? You know what I mean? Nothing. It got worse, if anything.
So This is where I believe both are going on at the same time. There's a white hat controlled good propaganda, part of the awakening up and covering up some actions. And I believe the black hats still have control of some things. Maybe they still have control of a little bit of the media and some narratives, because why every time there's about ready to something come out, there's some type of bigger news that comes up to cover all those stories, which would indicate to me that there is probably some still black hat involvement. I've said from a long time, I do not believe the white hats are in control, but I believe they are controlling the chessboard, which means the movements of the bad guys are limited. And here's a great way to explain it. Let's say you're playing sport. Let's say you're playing basketball. If you have great defenders,
well, nothing is black and white. I think we tend to, as human beings, simplify, because we forget the millions of colors in between solid black and solid white, and there's this whole rainbow of colors in between, and we don't look at that because there's too much to look at. So we just try to simplify everything. It's either this or it's this. White hats are winning, black hats are winning. Well, both could be winning at different times in different battles, and it gets very confusing. And, the conversations you have sometimes is people got one bit of information and they go, okay, that's what I'm believing the outcome's going to be. And then you've got another piece of information over here, has somebody believing something totally different about the same issue, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go, well, who's right? Well, maybe there's truth in both of them. Maybe the truth is somewhere in between, in all those millions of colors that are in between the black answer or the white answer.
So, while you're talking, and I'm going to try, this is a perfect time, I'm going to try to find an image that I made that illustrates this perfectly for what you're saying, so people understand we are intentionally pushed into black and white, and that's a Freemason construct that people don't understand is absolutely intentional.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing some work here right now while you're pulling up whatever next news story. Isn't that beautiful? We are unscripted here, folks.
I think I love it. Well, let's talk about Gavin Newsom. What the hell is he doing in China? So Gavin Newsom goes to China, of all places, right? And you might say, well, what's the deal there? And I think they're grooming him back into a 2024 election. Do you think more of us are going to have eyes on the ground? More of us are going to be paying attention? It's going to be harder for them, right? We're not going to allow them to get away with it just as much as they did before. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. But I think they might be grooming this Newsom guy to be the Biden replacement.
I think you nailed it, actually. I think that's probably exactly what they're doing. Or maybe, again, it's optics, right?
Yeah.
It seems to all be optics. So we are in a massive psyop right now, and I know people are in full belief of what General Flynn just said about Q as a psyop, and people are very upset with him. Well, Q is a psyop, guys. I actually did a film of this. I think it's a very short film called Q as a psyop. It's a good psyop. Don't be upset by what General Flynn said. General Flynn specifically said in multiple interviews that disinformation from the good guys is also part of these operations.
Right.
He also said the oath and said, where we'll go one, we'll go all. He's also held up a flag with Q on it, just to be very clear, folks, of what's going on. And I believe he was deeply involved in the NSA, and his job in the military was psyops, miscommunication. So let's just be very clear of that before you jump on to the wholeheartedly of what he said there. Nothing personal about Flynn. You guys make up your mind about him. I'm just letting you know facts. Let me share my screen here, Robert.
You
this
can.
Goes
Yeah.
Exactly what we're talking about. So I created this image a while ago. And it says here, it's not all, I'm sorry, do you have this on the screen, by the way? You do,
Yep.
right?
It's on the screen. Yep.
It says it's not all black and white. The satanic Freemasons need you to believe that everything is black and white. Folks, division of duality is what I named it. That's what they need, right? So I put right here, there's a full color spectrum that is avoided in most conversations. Keep your mind open to many, many scenarios. So when Robert and I have these conversations and these news articles come up and all this crazy stuff comes up, we don't lock ourselves in to the narrative. We don't lock ourselves into this is all bad and black cat, and we don't lock ourselves into this must be a movie. I think you're doing yourself a disservice when you do that. I would suggest that we open our minds up and say, what's really going on here? Because guess what? God gave us a pineal gland and a pituitary system that helps with our discernment. Even if, guys, you think everything is a movie, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're locking into that reality, because you're not opening your mind and your mind's not expanding. So I would just suggest that we open ourselves up to these scenarios, because that's the discernment that God actually gave us.
Beautiful. And true. And true. You find, too, people who are less educated tend to be more into the black and white because it's just easier to understand. And people who have a lot more education, they're a little bit more analytical in terms, they will, entertain more options in between. Nothing is ever black and white. And, we're trained to think it, in those terms, but, I think as you start to evolve, you realize, there's a whole rainbow of colors out there, millions of colors. There's a lot of different scenarios.
Not a rainbow flag, guys.
Not that kind of rainbow, no. Absolutely not. All right. Shall we go up to Capitol Hill?
Yeah. What else did they hide?
So he went on, Lewis, to say he's the only one in there asking questions. He says, all of us have the right to go in there and ask those questions. Like, we need more of us showing up and asking these people and confronting them, right? He's got a point.
Yes. This is a perfect example of the Freemason duality. Many people won't be happy with me. He is sucking on the teat of Israel. She is sucking on the teat of Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
He has his blinders on. Israel can do no wrong. If you support Palestine, you get very frustrated that these people are still doing this. It's so obvious what's going on. And that's because I have 3 brain cells now. If I only had 2, I probably wouldn't be able to figure this out.
Well, his point is well taken. I mean, we've got to be confronting these people on either side. Doesn't really care. Like you said, I don't really care what side they're on. We've got to confront them. And, we've got, 100% support for Israel on the Republican side now? It's like, so we're already funding Israel. We fund them every year. For decades, we've been funding them. And it's like now they want more money. I don't even think they're asking for it. We're just kind of butting in because Israel's a proxy for the United States, right?
It is, and it's unfortunately that we allowed dual citizenship, and it appears many congressmen have a citizenship in Israel and the United States.
Yep.
All right. How about just one citizenship, and that's to the United States?
It is their backup plan, from what I understand. That if something goes down here, they flee over there, and they can't be touched. That's what I understood it to be. That's why they have it.
Right.
So
Robert, do you have that image about the economy increased last quarter compared to the military industrial complex increase last quarter?
I don't have that image here, no.
All right. So I'll explain it to people really quick. So the Biden administration is running around saying they had like a 4-point percentage increase in their economy the last quarter. Now, what they won't tell you is that the spending in the military industrial complex increased about 8.5%. Think about that. So that is how you get the increase in the economy. Plus, they're trying to start spending more money all the way around.
Very, very true. I think, we're doing a good job in one respect, in that the people that are watching this show tend to be more educated, and they're certainly being alerted to some things that are hard sometimes to see through, because like you say, it is presented so professionally. And you think about it, and it's like, it's so real. It has to be the truth. These people wouldn't spend all this money and lighting and cameras and talent and all the rest of it if they're gonna put out lies out there. But that's exactly why they do it, because it does bring that air of truth to it, even though there isn't any.
Yep, you nailed it.
Yep. How about Jamal? What is Jamal doing here? What the heck's going on here?
This is going to be fun. Pay attention to what he's doing, guys. And he kicks the door to try to open it. And he drops the other sign. Of course, he pulls that fire alarm, which he claims is an actual door opener. Right. But he doesn't go back and go, wait, why did the alarm just go off? Dirt.
Yep. Tearing down the sign that, and he tried to open the door and the door wouldn't open. Because normally if you open a door like that, it would sound an alarm, right? Of some sort.
Yep. And he just got charged with say it, Robert. Say what he just got charged with.
Felony.
Nope.
No? Misdemeanor?
Misdemeanor.
Oh, no, even less than a felony.
Go figure.
Now,
what
if
are
this
the
was
odds?
a Jan 6 guy, he'd be in jail for 30 years.
There you go. A January 6th guy would have done that? Holy moly. That's it. That would be multiple felonies. And he would have had a conspiracy, because he probably would have talked to himself in the mirror. Therefore, that's two people. That would have been a conspiracy charge on top of that. This guy gets charged with a misdemeanor, which means they can trickle it down. His sentence could be eliminated. Like when you charge them with 80 years of felonies, and then they trickle it down to, we love you. We're going to give you 12 years. Wow.
It's one set of laws for our side, another set of laws for their side, and they're not even remotely close in how they deal with it. Crazy.
Rules for thee, not we.
Yep. I always go back to the pendulum always swings in the opposite direction, right? So at some point we hit that tipping point where that pendulum stops, and then it comes back in the other direction. It's usually an event that happens that causes it to stop, and then it swings in the other direction. And when it does, I hope that we're not weaklings like we normally are as Republicans, right? And decide, they really didn't mean it. He really didn't mean to pull the fire alarm. He probably was making an honest mistake, and let it all go. And this is what we've done for generations, right? We've done that. We're conservative, we're soft, and you can see where that's got us. We are getting our heads kicked in here.
So you made a great point. So the MK Ultra PSYOP, the one that we have been conditioned to, and you just slipped up and said as Republicans, and I know you didn't do that intentionally, you meant conservatives, right? Mm-hmm. But that's what we've been conditioned to talk about, is Republicans and Democrats, because that's that Freemason duality that we're talking about, and very important for us to pay attention to that. So we've been PSYOP forever, and what we've been told as conservatives is it is not appropriate to shout. It is not appropriate to threaten somebody. It is not appropriate to protest. It is not appropriate to boycott. That's what controlled opposition has been telling us for a long time, i.e. Sean Hannity, right? They tell us that on purpose because we are shut down. Conservative Christians hear this message all the time. Guys, just relax. Be meek.
Yep.
Just be meek. Well, you should damn well be meek. But meek is not what they're telling you in church. That's not the meaning. Meek does not mean docile. They're convincing you through this massive MK Ultra that meek means stand down. No, meek means stand up for those that are weak. Be strong where other people cannot be strong. Look at the origins. If you don't want to find my original film on meek, just go look at the origins of meek. You guys will figure it out yourselves. This is the PSYOP that's been perpetrated on conservatives for a long time because they never feared the liberals. They've always feared the conservatives. Well, let me step back. I'm sorry. In the 60s and 70s, they did fear the liberals because the liberals were anti-government, right? So guess what they gave them? Bread and circus. They gave them a lot of music and some really badass drugs, right? And then they got everybody to think you know how to control the liberals. Ironically, now the patriots are anti-government. Go figure that out. I must be a hippie.
Total flip. I mean, if you were thinking about the JFK Democrats, they look more like us today, right? It's completely flipped in 50 years.
Yep.
It's the way it is.
It is very interesting to see how this works. And just so you guys know, that was a CIA operation in the 60s that perpetuated through the 80s.
Wow.
Very, very interesting how that works.
Amazing.
Yep. And go look up Tavistock if nobody knows what that means.
Mm-hmm. Here's a video that Phoebe found. It gets you to the point where you realize the stuff you have doesn't really make you happy, huh?
I think that's an extraordinary video. Thank you, Phoebe, for that.
Thank you, Phoebe, for sharing that. Phoebe just
I think
walked
it
in.
really, really helped. Yep. It really, really helps us understand. And I believe that this is why I sincerely believe the reason why most people haven't woken up yet is because they've been conditioned to think that stuff is more important than humanity.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're going to explain how we believe there is going to be an economic fall next week. I'm not saying it happens next week. We're going to explain it next week because the markers are what I tend to look for. And we're going to have some special guests on in regards to that. When people lose their stuff, they're going to lose their shit.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
And that's when they're going to start paying attention and want a difference. Now, the question is, after they wake up, and they will, it's up to us, we the people, to explain how we got to this point and to explain to them that no longer should your stuff be a priority over humanity. And that's why everybody watching this and all the patriots out there, you guys are the ones that are going to rebuild this foundation in God's image, in my opinion. And this is how we're going to make our big difference. So you are called. Just know your time is coming soon.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, great reminder, because we get so caught up in being focused on the stuff and the material stuff, but there's a lot more to life than just that. So, good reminder. All right, well, we've kept people here quite a while today. Had a great show. Anything you want to leave them with before we wrap up for the day?
Nope.
Said it all. Okay. Well, that's important.
Just go be awesome.
Go be awesome. Make a difference. That's what we're here to do. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Is it Friday tomorrow?
It is. I'll be nowhere. I might stop by if I get a formal invitation from Robert and Bruce Poppy. But I'll be working on some very important stuff over the weekend. No rest for the weary, but it's always thinking about we the people.
Absolutely, and you will have that invitation. You're always invited to join us for our Friday show. Unraveling the News with Bruce Poppy and I. We'll be back same time tomorrow at same channel. Look forward to sharing with you.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Bruce has a huge surprise for everybody tomorrow.
Ooh.
Huge.
So